Welcome to Techabilities, produced live in the Blindabilities studio. I want to thank all of you for listening and for sending in your feedback. It's well appreciated. And if you want to send us some feedback, give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave a message. We'd love to hear from you. Or send us an email at info@blindabilities.com. Today we have Serena Gilbert, Rocky Gomez, Jesse Anderson, Lisa Salinger, and Marlon Parejo. And special guests, Nick and Edith from Canada. Yes, Canada. Be sure to check out the show notes for all the tech tidbits and news that we cover in this episode. And you can use chapters. If your podcast player of choice has the chapters feature, go ahead and nibble away at this episode or take it all in one big meal. That's the way it was designed. And chapters work good, and we love to make that feature available. So without further ado, let's get this show started.
Bad, dumb, and stupid idea.
Oh, the dragon's a beast.
Feels like they lopped off the corner of a MacBook. I mean, it's gorgeous.
Nope, not for me.
Okay, accessibility good.
I got some Comply foam tips for my Apple AirPod Pros.
There's words that he either mispronounces.
Words he cannot say at all.
Welcome to the Blindabilities Coliseum, where tonight the Techabilities team will be bringing you this week's episode.
Yes, in Studio B, leading the team is the old veteran, Jeff Thompson.
Hey, Jeff may be long in the tooth, but he has the tones of a 40-year-old.
And the Double Trouble tandem on the mics, Serena and Rocky, cover a lot of ground, while Jesse and Lisa add that little something each week.
Here is tonight's starting lineups behind the mics tonight.
Jeff Thompson, Minnesota.
Serena Gilbert, Colorado.
Rocky Gomez, California.
Jesse Anderson, Minnesota.
Lisa Salinger, Pennsylvania.
Marlon Parejo, Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, Marlon, we're going with current location
What?
only. Current location. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, from the top. Marlon, take 23.
Marlon Parejo, cafeteria.
Okay, let's flip the switch and go on the air.
Live from the Blindability studio, this is Techability Show. I'm Jeff Thompson from Friendly, Minnesota. And out there in Colorado, we have Serena Gilbert. How you doing?
Great, Jeff. How are you?
I am doing great. And further west, we have Rocky Gomez from California. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jeff. Doing great. Great.
And right beside me here in the Twin Cities, we have Jesse Anderson. Jesse, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty darn good. Doing good. I'm busy. And just got out of an XR Access meeting, so that was fun.
XR Access meeting. Oof.
Oh, yes.
We'll define that later. And out east, we got Lisa Salinger. How are you doing?
This is always such a crisis point for me. I feel like I should come up with something wonderful and sparkly and creative, and I have nothing. Nothing.
It's a difficult point, isn't it?
It's like,
thank you.
I'm torn between saying, I'm fine, and, well, really, how much time do you have? Because I could really tell you, but I don't think even I would want to listen.
The air is purple. The smoke is everywhere. I'm doing great.
Just
horrible.
Put a Band-Aid on it and just lie, you know?
Well, then don't ask.
Don't ask. Yeah. We're in a culture where we don't Band-Aid anymore now, Jeff. You know better than that.
We're going to start it out with a big sale going out in California at the Adaptation Store at adaptations.org. Rocky, what's happening out there?
Yeah, it's a back-to-school time. Can you believe it? It's like middle of August and kids are going back to school already. I don't know what's up with that. I think when I was a kid, we waited till after Labor Day, so it just seems like an atrocity to me to give up 2 weeks of my glorious summer to go back to school. But it's time, and some kids are getting ready, and people are getting ready, and so we merged our sort of one of those back-to-school sales on marking and labeling tools with some new locator dots. These are the dots and dashes I spoke about before from Prodigy, and they come in a set of 12, and so they're kind of nice because you can use different configurations for different things, and we wanted to discount them because they were new, and we had some other labeling supplies. This is a time when everybody likes to come and stock up on things like the bold writer pen, similar to the 2020 pen of days gone by. Different things like that for, paper product supplies they need for school. Usually pens are a hot seller, next year's calendars, things like that. So it's 10% off site-wide. The discount is automatically applied at checkout. If you buy something, you'll receive it automatically, so there's no need to worry about a code or anything. Just go and shop, and it's good through the 31st of August.
And that's at www.adaptations.org.
Adaptations.org, absolutely.
All right, good thing. FlickType. Some people like it, some people don't, but a lot of people, I think they sold...
They're gonna cry.
You're gonna cry? Oh, they sold over 500,000 of these. It won awards from Apple, but it seems like there's a little battle going on between the two, and it's gonna be removed. Thoughts? Anybody?
Well,
I remember when this came out as Flexi. Mm-hmm. And I actually did a podcast on this way back in the day, and it came out and they're like, I forget how they put it, but they're saying, anybody want to beta test this app where you type where you think the letters ought to go? And I thought, this is a really bad, dumb, and stupid idea, but I can write a nice tactful letter, so I'll offer to test their little thing. And then I will be able to hopefully tactfully and kindly explain why this is a bad idea. And within 2 minutes of using it, I was head over heels in love. I was ready to go knock on doors and accost perfect strangers on the street and tell them how wonderful this is. And every time I see a retweet of this, it just makes me sad because all that innovation, all that hard work is just gone. And it's such a great app.
I think it's important to really examine the history of Flexi/FlickType, though.
Psst, there's only 3 steps.
She's really short.
I remember when, like you said, Lisa, I paid $15 for Flexi when it first came out as a standalone app before Apple allowed for third-party keyboards. So you would type it in the standalone app and then export it or copy paste. It was super fast either way. And then it became its own third-party keyboard, and the owners of the original Flexi decided to appeal to a broader audience, and that caused a problem because we all paid $15 for the original app. And then it was like, I feel like it was like, what, $1.99 or something, and then free,
something
just all
like
super
that.
Fast. And then when they sold it, it became less accessible. Surprise, surprise.
And there was like a split, I think, between the two owners. Like they each thought it should go a different direction or something. I don't really remember.
I thought it was always the husband and wife, and they sold it to whoever owns Flexi now. But then FlickType came back out and they were like, we're going to do right by you all. And then here we are again a few years later. So I have a slightly different opinion. I actually still use Flexi because it is usable with VoiceOver. Don't try it on iOS15 yet because I'm pretty sure it's broken on there. But I still use Flexi daily, and I have a lot of success with that. I had a lot of trouble with FlickType in the last iteration. It was a lot laggier than Flexi for some reason, and it just didn't work quite as well for me. I'm really sad to see it go because I think it could have gotten better. It sounds like there was just a lot of fighting between FlickType and Apple, but there's also, it wouldn't be fair to have this discussion without talking about the history and the decisions that were made by the owners of the original Flexi.
Right. I mean, there's been a lot of talk, or that post that they had posted, with the background about how, they were trying to work with Apple and just the whole back and forth beyond that. And I've been a big fan of Flexi and FlickType as well. Like in the beginning, I kind of resisted because I was like, well, I don't really know. Like this seems kind of gimmicky. And at the time, Apple wasn't supporting third-party keyboards. So I'm like, well, if I'm going to have to copy and paste it anyway, why would I really want to bother? And then I did try it. I'm like, oh, let's try it. I had the similar experience that you did. And I'm like, oh, you know what? This is actually really cool. And I started using it on my phone. And I thought, especially like where I was carrying my phone around, I couldn't really dictate, but I really wanted to write something longer. And I just really didn't want to do the touch typing keyboard, which I can do, but it's just slower. And then I tried it on my iPad. And it was really kind of neat because if you kind of, once you figured out like the spacing and kind of like how your hands should be hovering over the screen, I kind of got to the point where I could literally hold all of my fingers just hovering above the screen and touch type like I was typing on a physical keyboard.
Sure.
And I think I was getting on the iPad, I don't remember how I tested it, but I think I was getting I got up to like 40 words a minute or 50 words a minute on it. And so, yeah, I mean, I've been using FlickType off and on for quite a while. I've even done a little bit of beta testing for them in the past, so it's really sad to see that. I really wish or hope that they could work something out, but it doesn't look good.
Rocky, did you go from bad, dumb, stupid to wonderful with this app?
No.
You're a Braille Screen Input, right?
Absolutely. So I will say I paid for Flexi. I was one of those that spent the $15 like a fool. It was before I had learned to sit on it for a year and wait and see what happens. And actually, I like the app. Seriously, all joking aside, I love the concept. And I used to be a T9 user for people of old school cell phones. And so anything that would let me type faster was wonderful. But I do want to say a couple of things. I was a tactile screen protector user. Our friends here in Sacramento over there at speeddots.com who produce the tactile screen protector that we resell at Lighthouse and that AT Guys resells and a lot of other people resell. They have a beautiful website. Go check it out. They have screen protectors, inexpensive ones that you just slap onto the front of your iPad or your iPhone, and they have little dots on them in different places. But that allowed me to get my typing speed really fast in the native keyboard. I always had trouble, same with mBraille. A lot of friends of mine fell in love with mBraille when it came out. And I love the concept of brailing on the keyboard, but I could never get my head around this, copy it to the clipboard and paste it somewhere. It was just tedious. So I used Flexi a little bit, but I found that when all the disruption happened and the split happened and the keyboard became less usable, certainly, I quit using it. And when BSI really became Braille Screen Input, became a third-party keyboard that Apple introduced natively to the iPhone, where I could just go into VoiceOver settings, switch it on, and then turn my rotor until it says Braille Screen Input, and I could type in Braille on the screen. Until that point, I used to use the regular on-screen keyboard, and I got pretty fast with it. So I love what Flexi did. Like Serena said, I love the concept. I did like it right away, but I became disillusioned very quickly with this needing a second app with this whole third-party standalone thing. And by the time it became its own keyboard, Braille Screen Input was really the thing for me that changed everything because I could go so fast.
Mm-hmm. You use Screen Away?
I do, and actually I hold the phone in a strange way, but I hold the phone away and I hold it in landscape mode, so my palms are kind of on the ends of the phone, and then my thumbs are on the back, and my pinkies are sort of there if I need .8, but they sort of rest on the bottom of the edge of the phone just to hold it. And I can stand on the train and text or whatever, anything. I can write long emails and letters and documents and stuff because I'm using Braille. It took a while to get good with it. I wanted to kill it. For a few weeks, I had a lot of higher than average error rate, and I was very frustrated, and I gave up a few times and walked away from it, but I knew that it could be done. I just needed to slow down, and as I got more proficient and faster and learned some tricks, God, I love Braille Screen Input. Anybody that doesn't know, I'm always happy to show them because it's such a game changer if you know Braille.
Yeah.
Yep. And speaking of Braille, just a quick thing, I got to take a little toy home from work today that I've been trying out with the iPhone.
The Mantis?
How do you like it?
It's kind of cool. I'm borrowing a little device. It's called the Mantis Q40, and it is the 40-cell Braille display, but it has the QWERTY keyboard on it. So, a lot of people, they type really quickly. Like, I used to type Braille. Like, I took Braille notes in high school on, like, the old Braille and Speak back in the day, but I QWERTY type constantly, and so I'm very comfortable with that. And, having a device where you can, pair it with up to 5 devices, Bluetooth devices, and then a USB device, I can just switch between a bunch of things. I've only paired it with like one so far, but in the time that I've been using it just today, once I figured out and remembered a couple of the VoiceOver keyboard commands, it works pretty good, I gotta admit. Kind of liking it.
There's a few keys in the wrong place. On iOS, they switched the control and the function key around, so you just get used to that and then move back to the Mac. And it's just muscle memory, but it's such a great keyboard to type on, and I love how versatile it is. There's something really nice about just having the display always there.
Yeah.
It's great for formatting documents, I find, and JAWS and things like that. But also, a little secret, you can use the USB camera adapter on the cable that comes with the Mantis and connect it to devices. If you have the USB camera kit, you can plug it into the USB cable and connect it via USB. And because it's an HID device, there are only a couple devices that are supposedly that will do it. Apparently, they don't like to advertise it very widely because I think it is not supported all the way yet. I think it's fairly, well, it only apparently works with the Brilliance and the Mantis and the Chameleon.
So you could hook a microphone up to it?
No, you can plug it into your iPad or your iPhone and use it via hardwired connection. You don't need to pair it via Bluetooth. You can plug it in as a wired keyboard and have Braille support. It goes both directions. Same with the Chameleon, which I think would be a lot of fun to try to connect up and see what it would do via USB. I think you need a little program from APH's website. You need to download a little thing to make it work with the Mac, I know. So I would go and investigate and make sure that there isn't anything else that you need.
Yeah, I'm going to probably try the Mantis over USB on my desktop tomorrow. We'll see how that goes.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
And you can find more about the Mantis on the APH website. That's aph.org.
Yep.
Or just ask us. It sounds like we could do a fan club. I love mine.
Do you like it too?
Very much. For example, right now I'm sitting in my recliner chair with my wireless headset on, and I have the Mantis in front of me, and my PC is across the room, and I can control everything from here. And I don't mind typing in Braille, but you have more keyboard combinations to memorize.
Yes, that's my problem with PC.
And I have mild carpal tunnel, and I find that if I type 15 minutes on a QWERTY keyboard, I'm not going to notice. But if I type 15 minutes on a Braille keyboard, my hands are going to start to hurt a little bit because it's just straight up, down, up, down, up, down. Whereas if you're typing on a QWERTY keyboard, no matter how small the motions are, because it is a sort of smallish keyboard, but your fingers are still going through some range of motion.
Yeah. Right. Seems like the best combination since Reese's peanut butter cups.
Pretty much. Pretty much.
Oh, I just ordered some of those, by the way.
Oh, that's so good. That's my favorite.
They now have ones with pretzels in them.
This is the longest time we've gone without mentioning food lately.
I know, right?
But thinking of food and Halloween costumes, Disney is now coming up with adaptive costumes for people with disabilities. And I had the picture described to me. It showed I believe it was a gal in a wheelchair, and she had this outfit on, and it covered the back, and it covered the wheels. They had things for the wheels and everything. It was a total outfit, as if you're going out trick-or-treating or something of that nature, or going to some type of festive type of thing. I thought it was really cool article when I saw that come out, and I put that out on my Twitter feed and the Facebook feed, and wow, it's just going crazy out there. People are retweeting it, liking it, and I thought it was really good stuff, a really good thing for Disney to offer to people.
I know Target, I feel like, had sold some adaptive costumes. If it wasn't last year, maybe they started a couple years ago. So it's kind of cool to see more places being more inclusive about it. Like, that's super cool. Could you imagine, a young kid that is a wheelchair user that can trick out the whole wheelchair with their costume?
Oh,
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who wants to wear a bullseye from Target? I mean, Disney, you could be vast amount of different characters.
Well, now that they own everything, I mean, Marvel, Star Wars, I mean, they own the universe. So, yeah, you can go out whatever you want.
Apple has something to say about that, though, don't they? And Mr. Amazon?
Yeah.
Windows came out with this a while ago, but now they got a new app for Windows to be able to use Password Manager, the keychain, in the cloud on your Windows devices. Now, Serena, you tried this before, but had no good luck with it.
Oh, I don't even bother installing iCloud for Windows when I get a new computer anymore because it doesn't work with screen readers. I still don't understand, and I don't think they're going to fix it because I was also using iTunes a couple weeks ago when I had to restore my iPhone. Which we'll talk about a little bit later. And iTunes has gotten worse somehow with screen readers. So if iTunes has gotten worse, I have no confidence that they have included iCloud for Windows. It's like they don't want you to be able to use it.
Has anybody noticed that Apple never mentions iTunes anymore?
God, it's the worst app ever.
No, they don't, because they don't really have to, because they just think, oh, well, most people don't use Windows, but I'm a regular Windows user, and I don't use iTunes unless I absolutely have to for similar reasons, but if I do have to occasionally go into, like, iCloud, I just do it through the website, and then
the website's not much better, though, honestly.
No, thankfully I have a little bit of backup vision, so I can just magnify and fight with it that way, but...
Well, there are always resources,
Yeah.
I think there's a help desk there on Be My Eyes. Don't forget about them. And there are places like Ira and ways we can do it. The best way I found to do it, of course, is to just buy a Mac, and it works fine.
And now, the fight of the century in this corner, representing Windows PC, the tag team, Jesse the Gamer, and Serena, Serena. And in the next corner, representing Mac, Apple, and all things voiceover, Rocky Gomez. Let's get ready to rumble!
PCs are so much cheaper. No.
Yeah. I'm a PC person.
Yeah, but I don't have to reboot for 6 months at a time, and my machine doesn't slow down, and it doesn't crash, and it doesn't stammer, and I don't know.
I think that's like an old thing. That doesn't really. I rarely reboot my computer anymore.
Me too. The only time I do is when there's updates.
Yeah, but does it slow down when you leave it running? Or
no, not even. I have my computer.
The only reason my work computer does is because of all the crap that our organization puts on it. State computers are terrible. But all my regular Windows computers, they run flawlessly. They run
great. The thing I think all these people forget, I have friends that work for the federal government, and it's the same thing, It's one thing when we update things at home. Mm-hmm. We can run updates right away.
Do you guys realize we just lost all our state and federal sponsors?
Well, you got a truth, man.
Where they can't just update their machines arbitrarily.
No, I mean, the one thing that I was thinking about, especially as we're sending out these links back and forth, I wish there were a way, and I haven't looked to see if there is. I wish there was a way that I could do, like how you can do with the Mac. I wanted to do text messages on my computer, like if I'm sitting at my computer on my Windows PC, but I wish I could do them.
Can't you?
No.
I don't know if...
No, there's no way to send iMessage. There's no way to send iMessages or text messages on your computer.
Not iMessages, but SMS, are you sure?
iMessage, I don't think you can.
No, not iMessage, but text messages, I think you sure can. You used to be able to.
Yeah, but I mean, like our text conversations, like for the show.
Yeah, not the same way. Like, you can do it via like email, but it's real clunky.
You could send a text message to a mobile number, but it's limited.
With voiceover problems in the iCloud, they also have voiceover problems in iOS 15. They've been jumping around with the Safari address bar. It should be down at the bottom, down at the top. Now they give you a toggle. Now you can put it at the top or the bottom by choice. But the thing is, when you go into the settings right now, it says button. And if you experiment, the first button keeps it at the bottom, and the second button, if you do that, it'll move it to the top just like it's been before.
That's counterintuitive.
Well, they'll fix the voiceover part of that.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, because I'm seeing a lot of this lately with voiceover, and I'm finding that sometimes I can't even click the state of the buttons, or maybe they're not reading, but I go and I play around with screen recognition, and
I get no response from screen recognition lately. It seems like it doesn't seem like to be a fix. It doesn't solve my problem. If something's not reading,
sometimes I'll see a button that it becomes clickable, or it's in a different place than VoiceOver is reporting it to be, and I just find that sometimes it'll change the state of elements, and I'm not quite sure, except that it's in beta.
Well, I just went in the settings and went down to Safari, opened it up, and went down further, and it says tabs, heading, and then after that, there's two buttons. The first button, if you press that, it'll keep what they call the tab bar. I call it the address bar. It'll keep it at the bottom. The second button will move it to the top. And then you just got to experiment around with finding where your tabs are and stuff like that. But it's all there, and it's not that bad. And sometimes you can have it disappear, but at the very bottom, like way at the bottom where, you'll find out if your emails have just updated or something, that area right at the bottom, it'll say that it's collapsed and it'll pop it up. But I prefer it right at the top, so that's what I did right now. So it's been jumping around from the 4th beta, 5th beta, 6th beta. This is the 3rd change they've done to it. Now they got everybody covered by giving you multiple options.
I hated Safari when I was beta testing on, I hated that being at the bottom. It was hard to find where to even hit back. I just want to go to the previous page. Where is the back button? Because I don't always like using the scrub gesture. I hope it's, I don't know. We all know how I feel about iOS 15.
I liked Rocky's suggestion. After I fussed with it for a little while in iOS 15, I used Brave. That has
you switched over to the other browser.
Temporarily, now that you can put it back, it's like I'm back on Safari, just because why install another browser on my phone when there's already one there?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Unless you can change the native browser that it points to, can you?
Yeah, I don't know. Probably. But the main thing I've had happen, and I had it with iOS 14, but I'm having it maybe a little more with 15, is almost all the calls that I make, I'm using a Bluetooth earpiece. I almost never hold the phone up to my face because I smile dial all the time. I'll smile and my cheeks will beep, So, and I have hearing aids, and so they're Bluetooth. But there are times when I'm not wearing them and I'm just using a regular Bluetooth earpiece. But when I end the call, the speech goes away, and I can tell voiceover is still on because if I flick left and right, it kind of makes those little pinky sounds. The speech is gone, and sometimes...
Do you turn to your phone and say, I know you're still on, and have a conversation?
Yeah, it's a Bluetooth thing. The only way I guess I could turn it off automatically is if I set it like as one of the back tap things, but I had turned that off because I must have been setting my phone down too hard because I was always triggering it. So, but yeah, I think it's like Bluetooth temporarily loses its mind. The other thing that's happening really lately, this is just in 15, it happens once or twice and you think, oh, it's user error. It happens more than that and it's like, uh-oh. So I'm in my recent calls list and maybe I will go to call the first person, the person at the top of the list, and it will call the person that's 4 people down.
That happened to me when I was in messages trying to compose a message and I typed in a name.
Nightmare.
And I definitely clicked the correct name, but it picked the group message with that name, and I sent a text to the wrong people. Luckily, it was harmless,
jumpy,
but
yeah.
It is jumping.
Always split tap because that's my worst nightmare. I'm gonna whip that thing open and send off a message to the wrong person.
And there's another place too where it's jumping. Oh, I know where, but this is an app specific, and it's not a stock app. It jumps a lot in my Comcast app, but that's probably not something they'd...
Oh, yes, it sure does. It does in mine.
It's a Facebook thing. Facebook is horrible right now.
The focus jumping around issue has been an iOS thing with VoiceOver for at least 2 to 3 versions, if not more. I've reported it in the past at least 2-3 betas. I'm sure other people have too, and I can't tell you how many times I've clicked on the wrong thing in an app or done something like... It just jumps around.
Because it moves so fast.
It drives me crazy. If there's one bug that I wish that they would fix for VoiceOver in 15, it would be that one because it's driving me nuts.
Actually, I'm not having that problem as much. I've been happy about it. Every once in a while, I hear the back button and it goes back. One thing that I do hate that really bugs me is like if you're in Facebook or if you're in another app where it goes to like a picture or a video and you want to tap on it to hear it, you tap on it once and then it jumps to back and you tap on it again. And it goes back a page to it. Yeah, then you got to come back.
That's a focus issue, though. That's a focus thing.
That's the jumping around. Yeah, you have to catch it before it jumps.
It happens to me in YouTube all the time.
You're right. It happens all the time.
Yep.
It's not a 15 thing. I'm still writing 14.
It's happening in 14.
You notice Amazon has gotten really hard too to track. Does anybody, as it just
Amazon is hit or miss. So sometimes you can with headings go through and see what your search results are, and then other days you can't. And I can't figure out what the difference is.
I can't figure out the logistics.
Because I'm like, oh, they finally fixed it, and then the next day it's back to where you can't. It just reads the same heading over and over again. It's obnoxious.
Another thing that's really big that's happening right now in 15. I mean, this isn't out yet, but it's around the corner. It's coming. It'll be here. Your share sheet, it'll pop up, and I have who I've been sharing stuff with or sending messages to. It'll say those people. Then below that, it'll have a row of apps, and below that, you can copy the link or something like that. Now it says person, or something of that nature.
Mine did that on the beta 2 of it, and then it fixed it in beta 3.
Well, now it does it off and on.
I remember it doing that in one of the earlier betas. I don't know about now.
And then it wouldn't even focus on it. You'd go click on it, and it'd take 10 seconds solid to read who you were on in the share sheet.
That's how it used to be. Now it's hit or miss. Some apps pop it up. It works fine. Like if you're going to airdrop it to yourself or something, it's the first one on the left. You can tell because that's where it always, by default, it is. So I knew that. And then lately, the last couple of days, Techabilities was in second. But sometimes it would read them fine. The next time I pop it open, it would just say person.
Yeah, I've seen that.
You would think that would be, I mean, we're a month out from a gold master. You would think that would have been fixed.
Yeah, we're pretty
Not
close
even a month.
to it. Yeah.
One thing, though, that I really do love about iOS 15, and I know I've said this before, because once I get going, I can talk. I know that that's a shock to all of you, but I can. And so I have been known to send these novel-length text messages. And it used to be really frustrating because you're talking, and it stops you, and it's like, it's processing. And then you have to think, okay, where was I? Or you have to look in the message and see, okay, where did I leave off? And this, it will just take the whole thing. Now, it only reads you the last chunk, but you can go back and you can read the whole thing.
I think it's getting more accurate.
I thought so until today, and I forget what happened.
There are moments. I don't know if it's me or if it's
when somebody sends you a row of question marks, it means A, dictation has failed, and B, you should have proofed, dummy. That's what happened to me today. Yeah.
I think something that they really have improved is just lately, some of us have received the Apple TV remote, the new one, and I tell you, you get it in your hand and it's like, oh, it's, and you pause for a second, you start using it, it's like, it's cool. I like it. I really do like the new Apple TV remote. I got the new Apple TV, hooked it up. It all works really, really well. It's tactile. It's really tactile. Serena.
It's gorgeous.
You got 2 of them, don't you, Serena?
Yeah, and we need to order a third because the Apple TVs are perfectly fine that we have in the house. So we're just buying the remotes to upgrade that part of it. Because the 4th generation ones and beyond really do last a long time. It's the remote that was annoying. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I didn't mind using the remote, but then when you switch to the Siri one, you're like, ugh, what was I doing before?
And just comparing them aesthetically, the new one is
it's like plastic. The other one.
I was trying to tell Jeff before we started, it was like comparing one of the older, thinner iPhones to a newer iPhone that's all battery. I mean, it's a gorgeous chunk of, what's it made out of? Aluminum, probably, but it feels
like aluminum. Yeah, and it's heavy. It's very substantial.
But it's like something Apple would build, It feels like they lopped off the corner of a MacBook. I mean, it's gorgeous.
But when you press those buttons, they
nice.
just...
You just want to hold it in your hand.
I just like the power button. I like that there's a power button.
Oh, yeah, way up. And Siri's on the side. I sit there hitting the buttons.
Which is easy.
I know it's easy, but my habit is to hold the other buttons. And it's
which is the play pause button.
And it's right where it is on your phone.
Okay, I don't have an Apple TV anymore, but now I really want to see one.
I couldn't live without an Apple TV.
It's just neat to look at it.
I just have to admit, earlier before the show when we were talking about it, the word sexy came up, and I agree. It is a device.
It's
when it's in your hand, it's like, whoa.
It's sexy. It's beautiful.
I think I have a 4th gen Apple TV, and I haven't even turned it on in quite a while. It's probably a couple firmware updates behind, but
ours too.
It'll still work though.
I hate the original remote that thing came with the touchpad. I hate that thing.
You should get this update.
It's so easy to pair the remote too.
This update is gorgeous. It's about as thick as maybe 2 or 3 of those.
It's kind of as thick as an iPhone Pro, an iPhone 12 Pro.
Oh man, I wanted to just buy it.
Oh, we use our Apple TVs every single day. Every day we use them.
Oh yeah, Home Before Dark. I watched that whole 2 seasons. Great show. I don't know if there's going to be more. But another thing that they just announced in iOS 15 coming up here, a lot of the people with the betas have been able to try it, but that share play. So if you were watching a TV show and you wanted to share it with a friend so you could watch it together and it would sync up, and you could use this across devices all the way from your phone to your Mac to your TV. Yeah, FaceTime, Serena. I mean, we could all be sitting here watching the same show. But not anymore. They just pulled it from the beta 6.
Which is so frustrating because that was one of the biggest features. Because I was telling my son, because he FaceTimes with his grandparents all the time. And I was like, when this new one comes out, you'll be able to share your screen with him so he can see the game you're playing. And he was like, oh, that's so cool.
They spent a lot of time on WWDC talking about it.
They did. And it got a lot of media coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was the biggest, that was the lead piece of it.
This is the thing that was built for life in quarantine. And they got a lot of coverage, and I was really shocked when I saw they were yanking it.
They shifted it over to a new developer stage where developers are still going to be working with it, so it'll be introduced at a later date. I didn't try it with my beta just because not too many other people have it, so you couldn't.
Yeah, you'd have to have someone else that had it.
Right.
I think this might go the same place your AirPower went, though, Jeff. I don't know.
Home to that apple pie in the sky.
It's so frustrating.
Well, people have kind of been doing this on Zoom during the pandemic. I know there are people that have been getting together. It sounds crazy, but watching movies and stuff. And
oh, yeah. My friend and I would do it all the time with Discord.
Yeah.
I could see watching something that didn't have description and not being able to understand the last blessed 5 minutes of the thing and rewinding it and calling someone on FaceTime and saying, okay, look at this, what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah.
On Zoom, it's gotten better when you share a video and stuff.
Yeah, it's not the same.
I think this was going to work on like your Apple TV, you know?
Right. Yeah, you could send it to your screen. That's although I suppose you could with
But it's so clunky.
Yeah, it's not made for watching movies, so I'm sure.
Yeah.
You have better, I want to say fidelity, but that's not the word.
The audio quality would be better, everything.
Audio, and if you're talking back and forth, like it was Zoom, only one person
It'll
can talk.
lower everything, and
I love that. You know what? We've really moved. Think about this society we live in, how cool this is. You know, I might have to make a date to hook up with my friend across town, and we set a time to go have lunch or whatever. But if I want to get on the bus and talk to Marlon in Trinidad, Tobago, or somebody
in the cafeteria room.
You know, if I want to walk down the street talking to somebody in Mexico City or in Africa or in, Australia, I can just push a button and we're right there. We can watch movies or read books or whatever.
Can I ask why you only went with the Southern Hemisphere?
I don't know.
Just
I
curious.
should have said the UK. I'm more likely to do it with somebody from the UK, actually, so I don't know why I didn't say it. I'm just tired.
Incoming message.
Hey Rocky, it's Marlon. I just heard you talk about me and in the podcast. You know that you can call anyone and you call me. But here's the thing. I've been calling you for like 4 days now and, no reply. Not stalking or anything. Just saying that, you can call back, Or you can just walk across into the lunchroom and I'm right here doing... techability stuff, so when you're ready and you need some coffee or some water or more cookie, yeah.
This is the operator.
But it's kind of funny how virtual people, we haven't really thought about it, but as blind people, it's kind of a thing that we've had access to for a long time and communicated with people via audio and really different means than a lot of sighted people did. But I think now the technology has made it so easy. We can just push a button and have somebody in any part of the world right there with us,
Agreed.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, they're still working on it, so they probably at a later update it'll come back. I mean, they did that too. Remember when they had the FaceTime 30 people, something of that
FaceTime.
name?
Yeah.
That took a while to come out. It was a few months after, I think, was that in 13? Maybe it was in 12.
I was trying to remember. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
12 or
it's
13.
It's been a long time. I think it was in 13.
You guys mentioned all these things that you purchase and get, and I didn't buy from Apple this time. I needed the new tips for my AirPod Pros. So I got some Comply foam tips for my Apple AirPod Pros. There's 3 sets of 2, and I got the medium, and you can pick the size that you need, and wow, I love them. I have no sense that my AirPod Pros are going to fall out at all, and I don't even notice they're foam. They feel like memory foam, and they clip on just like the
silicone ear tips.
Yeah, I just put them on, and I just went, I'm in love. And I have actually left my on, probably not as long as Rocky does, but I tell you what, I've run them out of battery power because they're just so comfortable. And the other ones, when I go outside and do stuff, all of a sudden I know it's falling out, but now they just stay right in. I really like them. That's Comply. I'll put a link in there. They're $24.99. I know that sounds extortionate, but there's 3 sets of them. So if my cat eats these, I have some
Which will happen.
Hopefully not.
Your cat hates you.
You just got to do a better job of putting them away.
Another thing I got was, it's called the Jubanky.
Oh, before you move on, I have a question.
Yeah.
With those new ear tips on, do they still fit in the charging case just fine?
Just fine. I got the medium.
Okay.
Lovely. Thank you.
I got the medium ones. Yeah. They're black.
So they're not white like the regular ones?
They're in your ear, though. You'll never see them.
And they stay in your ear. That's the selling point. Everybody's ears are different. Someone else might get the medium and go, these don't work. I'm going to call that number 612-367-6093 and let
It's hard to know what size to get. That's the hard part. Yeah.
Well, they said match it up with which size worked with you, because they send you the small, the medium, the large when you buy the AirPod Pros, and you can choose those. So if that seems to me to work just fine. I've left them in longer than I ever left in the silicone tips. I like them.
Do they sound good? Do they give you good fidelity? Does it bump pretty good? Does it give you nice clarity? Do you have good highs and basses and all that stuff? Does it sound good?
I listened to my last podcast that I edited on Blindabilities. It was Matthew Whitaker. He's a jazz musician. And if I could go back and edit some little clicks, some little things, like that, I was hearing it better than I thought before. And I know, we try and have some of the lossless audio here on Techabilities. But I don't know. It was just one of those things I was listening to it, and it was like I was hearing better than I've ever done before. So I think that foam helps, maybe. Or maybe I was just paying more attention.
Yeah, it gives you a good seal.
Because I never feel like I have the best seal. Like, the large ones are too big, the tiny ones are too small, and I never feel like I quite have the best seal that I could have on them.
Well, from Comply, you can buy the assortment, so you'll get the small, medium, large. Or you can buy whatever you get. You're going to get 6 of them for $24, $24.99. So you can get the small, you can get the medium, or the large.
Might get the assortment, then try them all.
Yeah, I got the medium because I'm glad I did, because now I have 2 backups, and a fat cat. But yeah, no,
your cat is offended.
I know, and all those people out there who have cats that are.
Then now he's going to be on the next podcast in 2 weeks and say, down to 4 2 sets.
I also purchased the magnetic band loop for my watch, and it's made by a company named Jubanke, Jubanke, and it has the
E is silent, Jeff.
I know, but
see, I wasn't sure because Eloquence pronounced it Jubanke.
Jubanke.
And my first thought was, this better work well, because I could see Rocky going off on Janky Jubanke. Because little things please
that
little
is something
minds.
I would say.
I was so very amused.
That is something I would say. Oh my gosh.
Jeff's like, anyways.
It's a stainless steel metal loop, Milanese mesh.
Milanese
loop.
Well, my voiceover was telling me it was something different.
Yeah, because the way that they wrote it, there's no space between Milanese and loop, and I had to spell it. I'm like, what the heck did he even get here?
Yeah.
And then I realized.
Note to self, look up Milanese loop.
Here's something I found on the web. Basically, Milanese loop is named for a design from the 13th to 19th century Milan where the stainless steel loop is woven on special Italian machines to create a mesh that's both tough as metal and yet supple as leather.
It works pretty good. It's just a little complicated when you take it all the way off and you set it down and then you go put it back on. It's hard to remember because I'm just so used to using, the silicone straps, the button and the thing.
You'll get used to it.
I've had a loop for years and you'll just reach down and grab it. It'll become the most natural thing in the world.
Yeah.
Do you stick to everything?
I have a knockoff as well.
I have a knockoff, and it's like my favorite band I've ever had.
I bought a knockoff when I got my previous Apple Watch. I bought a Milanese loop on Amazon. It's beautiful. I think I paid $12 for it.
I paid $12.99.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and it's still here to this day. It didn't
very
scratch.
secure,
It's very sturdy.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing about it, it sticks to everything. There's a magnet that wraps around underneath and grabs the band. Even on my arm, it sticks to my cast iron pan when I'm reaching into the oven. Bam! I have to watch it that I don't rip my watch.
Oh.
It's really cool, though, because if you need to know if something's magnetic or not, people are like, anybody got a magnet? And you're like, I do.
At work, all the studs in the wall are metal. So if I lean against the wall or if I'm walking through a door and my hand brushes the door frame, bam, and
into the vortex.
Man, you must have bought the extra heavy duty one. I didn't experience that with mine.
It's got a magnet. It sticks to everything.
It's rare earth magnets.
Everything. If there's one thing I don't like about it, it's that. I mean, I can pick up things off the table. I can grab a fork or a piece of cutlery.
Oh, heck yeah, me too. But I had a thing 3 weeks ago where mine just stopped being magnetic. It wasn't magnetic to itself. It wasn't...
Oh, no.
That's so odd.
It kept slipping and sliding, and I'm thinking...
Oh. No.
It's dying. And it did that for 2 days. And then it was fine. So I wonder if it was some solar magnetic earth thing.
Creepy.
I don't know. It was creepy, kind of. Because it was
it Friday the 13th?
No. But I went to stick it on and I'm pressing and it's I'm already good.
It's layered though. It's layers.
Yeah.
Could it have been that the layers separated? at the magnet? Because you feel on the inside there's a little gasket.
Yeah, but it didn't feel any different. It felt like it always did. And then
weird.
it went, like I said, 2 days. And then I woke up the next morning and bam, it was fine.
Maybe something was stuck to it.
Maybe there was some lint.
Like some plastic.
I like that explanation better.
I noticed on mine there was a little plastic thing that I had to peel off. You know, like when you get something new to protect the glass, you got to peel it off or something.
Like when you buy a new iPhone.
The magnet part of it had a little plastic piece on there, probably because so they could package it up without having to stick to everything or anything, even though the plastic probably doesn't stop a magnet. But HBO just came out with a new update today to their app, Hbo Max, and Serena posted something I saw, so I had to go check that out about audio description on HBO. And
so I'm not sure that they updated their actual app. They're saying they're working on that through this. They're updating every single Hbo Max app on all the platforms by the end of December.
Yeah.
But are you referring to the new title that was added that people have been just clamoring for?
No. There was an update today that came out, but it doesn't reflect all the audio description stuff like you mentioned that's coming out in December. But one came out. So I just dug in and I went down the menu and then you have audio description there and you tap on it. I like how they put them all in alphabetical order in a sense so you can see the movies or the series or TV shows that are with audio description. That's what I noticed today, but that may have been...
Oh, did you just now notice the audio description tab? Because that's been there since they added audio description.
Well, like I said, I updated and I said, you struck my curiosity.
You just never noticed.
I think I did, but I haven't used it for a while. But my daughter subscribed to it, so I started watching it through Apple TV. So I put it on my phone and then the update came. So now I've been watching it on the Apple TV version, the accessibility there. So when I saw the update come in, I decided to dig in and see what was up with it. And it worked fine. I went right through it and I turned on, Gran Torino, Clint Eastwood, just to see if it would work. And yeah.
Oh, that's a great movie.
Audio description was pretty good.
For those who maybe missed it, Game of Thrones now has audio description on HBO. I'm told I'll have to go test it because the update that I put out on ADP, it doesn't indicate how many seasons. Sometimes it's only the first few seasons and then they're slowly putting it in. But I listened to the first episode of it and the voice artist that they got to do the audio description fits the show perfectly. They got a female to do the audio description. She has a slight accent, kind of like the way the show is, and it's seamless. They did a beautiful job.
Is she from the Southern Hemisphere? Just seeing if that's our trend today.
I think you'll enjoy it. It's beautiful.
What's really nice about it is you can go down to your sound settings and go right into the audio. Mine was defaulted to the English. Right above it was English with audio description. So I just tapped on it and boom.
So a trick with that too is on the iPhone, it'll stick. You pick audio description once, it's always going to be on when you play something. On the Apple TV, not so much. And it's not because of the Apple TV. It's something with the way HBO is programmed. So I don't know what they've done, but it won't stick. So I'm hopeful that since they're completely overhauling all these apps, because apparently the apps are glitchy for sighted people too. And my husband doesn't care for the app. A lot of people don't care for the app. It even was broken with the Siri remote, ironically. Like something broke with it. Like
the thing with the Apple TV with the HBO and it not sticking like that, it was a deterrent for me sometimes because I could pick something else somewhere else.
You don't have to keep grabbing the remote. Although you might want to keep grabbing the remote now.
Oh, yeah. It's still in my hand.
But it is distracting because HBO also does this thing where they play like an ad like before everything. And it's not like an ad in like Hulu. It's like an ad of here's all the other things on HBO.
Oh, yeah. Right before.
And you can't turn the audio description on until that part finishes. And sometimes it's not very clear when that's finished, especially if it's a Max original, because they don't have that signature HBO sound. That, you know, the heavenly sound. But the Max original just kind of starts, so you don't know. So
I wanted to go back to something you mentioned earlier, and you said we get to it. You did do iOS 15 beta, and then you got frustrated with it.
For like
and you went back to iOS 14.7, I believe. Now you're on.
Yeah, like 14.7.1, I think, is what it did when it restored.
So before you went into the beta, you did something that's very important.
No, Serena did not do what was important because iTunes would not cooperate with me doing a local backup. But I did back it up to iCloud. So if you do try the beta and you're like, nope, not for me, you can restore back to your last backup of what you did on the previous version. So I couldn't restore my data to what I had done up, like my text messages and stuff up till then had gotten deleted and stuff. And all my pictures, because I didn't have them in iCloud. But The pictures don't bother me as much. Anything important I put on Facebook anyway. But
sorry,
you have to
Trey.
like yeah. No, my husband has all of them too, so it's all good. But you have to essentially put your phone in restore mode, which I forget what the directions are because it's easy. I always have to look it up and plug it into iTunes. And then it asks you, are you sure you want to restore? Do you want to install? And it takes maybe 15 minutes or so to do everything. And then you have to set your phone up and then restore it from the iCloud backup, which is not horrible, except you lose, like, if you don't have your text messages synced with iCloud and, well, during the time you were on 15, all those text messages would be gone because they weren't part of the 14 backup.
Right.
And then it takes forever for everything to download again.
Yeah.
Because it's restoring.
And don't you have to log in to apps again? Like, for example...
Yes, you do.
Yeah, so it's like...
It's a process.
It's annoying.
It's like getting a brand new device all over and downloading and restoring from an iCloud backup. Really, that'll take you back to your last known point before you install the beta, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I did look it up and I put a link in the show notes here. So if someone wants to experiment with that and then go back, and you can only go back to 14.7 because they stopped signing 14.6.
But you can, when I did my backup, just so people know, I think my backup was 14.6. But it's still, it's just looking at the first two numbers. It doesn't care about the point part. So it still let me restore from my 14 backup, even though it was on 14.7.
Yeah.
It would have made you upgrade anyway. Cool.
Yep.
But that's good to know because sometimes betas wreck something that you want to be productive with, or it's just annoying.
Yeah, it was incredibly annoying for me. It kept doing this thing, so I'm not sure if this happened to you guys. The thing that really, really got to me, because I already have come to terms with the fact that I'm going to have to give up my Flexi keyboard at some point. Like, they haven't updated it since iOS 13. I get it. What got me, and because I use my phone, I never realized how much I use my phone to just see what time it is and how many times a day I do that. And in one of the betas, the clock was on the screen, but if you would touch it with VoiceOver, it was acting as though all it would say is locked or unlocked. And you can fix it by restarting the phone, and it used to just do it once a day. And then the next day it did it like 3 times. And the next day it did it every 20 minutes. And I was like, I can't do this. I cannot do this because I never realized how much I used it just to check the time.
Serena, 2013's calling. They want their Flexi back.
Oh, Jeff.
It works so well.
Yeah.
You can talk all your crap you want, but it is very speedy.
And when she's talking about all these updates and the time stuff, it kind of irresistibly draws me to my soapbox. And I've worked for various tech companies and in various technology roles. And I've done private iPhone instruction. And every year, people ask me, when the new one comes out, should I update? And it's so hard to say because, like, if I had the time bug that Serena did, I wouldn't really care. But for Serena, that's a showstopper. Something that might be a showstopper for me, somebody else wouldn't care about. And so you really need to do your due diligence. And to me, the easiest place to find all this stuff is when the updates come out, when they go live, AppleVis puts out a list of known issues that are classified by severity. So if, like, for example, if use of Bluetooth keyboards is broken in the latest iOS build, and you never use a Bluetooth keyboard, well, big deal. But if you don't type anything on the phone without using a Bluetooth keyboard, then it would behoove you to do your homework and find that out.
It's a big deal.
I belong to a developers WhatsApp group, and as soon as it comes out, they're just spamming that thing a little bit. I'll get 15, 16, 20 messages right out. I know a new update came out, and they do their duty. They go through it and they report everything. So I like tapping in and listening to it. I don't really care if you're using the Hungarian voiceover voice and you're on a third-party keyboard with a Bluetooth that it doesn't say the percentage sign anymore. So they got to switch back to Alex. Everyone's using different things, like you were saying. What may be important to you may not be important to other people.
I'll tell you what I care about. I saw a weird one. If you type the word SMELL, VoiceOver says smell.
Which is correct.
Yes, it is indeed. If you type the word SMELLY, VoiceOver says Shelly.
Now that's concerning because you would think that you misspelled it. you know?
And there is some poor little kid named Shelly out there who is going to get mercilessly teased. But they do like head.ache or something, however they say that weirdly. And when she says thyroid, this is the Samantha voice, she sounds like she has serious laryngitis. It's like, thyroid. It's like, whoa.
She can't say coronavirus either. It blew my mind that in the era of COVID-19, the voice, and of course I can't stand her, so I don't use her, but everybody that I know that loves Samantha, she called it coronavirus or something.
So does Eloquent.
Alex does.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
weird.
they write it all together.
And Serena spelt it wrong for a month.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
It's like,
I was saying it wrong for the whole first month of the pandemic because
gosh.
Jaws kept because it's saying it says coronavirus.
nobody reads Braille anymore, for goodness sakes.
But it's because it's one word.
coronavirus.
It should have a space in it.
Yeah.
Right.
And
It
doesn't.
should read it correctly.
It should.
It was a new word.
Virus is not a new word. Corona is not a new word. They were just run
Yeah,
together.
But putting them together,
No,
it really is phonetically
Because, like, if you write-
coronavirus. Because not every word is actually really programmed into these synthesizers.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
using grammatical rules to know how to pronounce them.
But then it would say coronavirus. It wouldn't say coronavirus. It cuts a corner.
Oh,
And
weird.
It's
yeah,
not.
Jaws says coronavirus.
Yeah, I've heard that. Which sounds a little bit like cadaverous. It's really a little ominous.
Another note to self. Look up cadaverous.
Cadavers is a form of the noun cadaver, which is usually defined as a dead body, especially a human body to be dissected. Corpse.
I'm talking about Samantha, the chain smoker.
The other thing, too, is depending on the context and where you're reading it, too. Like if you're reading it, let's say, on a lot of social media, where, especially if it's like a hashtag, it will have to be one word. But then what a lot of people will do is, even though it's one word, they'll still capitalize the first letter of each word to kind of make it sound better
I
do
with
that
the
with
screen
Yeah.
reader. But what I will say is I've noticed in the last, I'm trying to think of when it started. I use Alex on all my devices, and I have noticed that for some reason, like some of the pronunciations or just different things, like I can't think of an example of words right now, but there are words that I'm kind of
Like
surprised
nice.
that
Like US, he says ton. It's like, what?
I've never heard that.
yeah, there's words that he either mispronounces or says differently than he used to.
Words he cannot say at all.
Nice is said niece every
Weird.
time.
Like if you have a
Niece,
Christmas
yep,
album,
niece.
you'll see like track 05 and it might be Mary Did You Know? And it'll say 5 March, Why Did You Know?
Oh,
Oh, that's odd.
Yeah.
I have had the thing where it says 5 instead of V.
You've got mail.
We got an email from, remember Cheryl McIntosh from Audio Boom Days?
I know
Yeah.
Cheryl
Yeah.
McIntosh. Hello, Cheryl McIntosh.
And she wrote in that she was surprised to hear that Rocky G and Lisa Salinger were on the show, and she was really excited because she stated that she loves Rocky's intelligence and all her know-how in the gadgets and gadget world and stuff like that. And she also likes Lisa's input on a lot of the topics. So that was a good email to receive.
I like Gracie's comment. Thank you, Cheryl.
That was very sweet. Gracie was saying that no one will ever comment on my intelligence, especially tonight.
I really thank you because usually when you're hearing me on this podcast, it's the end of a very long day. So I don't feel very intelligent, heaven knows. But we love our listeners. You guys are the reason we do it. So
And Larry Birdsong wrote in, he heard about talking about the tips and tricks that we talk about and the battery pack. And he said that he brings one with him and his wife who is sighted. But when they go to England and everything, instead of worrying about plugging everything in here and there, that he just has these big old battery packs that he has and hooks them right up.
that's the ticket.
Plugging stuff in internationally worries me. I once heard a perfectly good iron do a helicopter impression and then it died. Yeah, I was on a trip in college and we went to Egypt and Israel and I made the mistake of plugging in my iron and it went it just that was that.
Oh, wow.
Hey, I had more room for souvenirs in my suitcase.
There you go.
You took an iron overseas?
I know, I was an idiot.
Wait a minute. What is this iron you speak of?
I know, seriously. In that day and age,
It's called
it was
a dryer?
thing. No, well, at that point we were like, you had to wash your clothes in the tub, and so you had to iron them. But now I'm going, iron. Where is my iron? If somebody held a gun to my head, I'm not sure I'd know where it was.
I don't even think I own one.
We own one, and we've used it once.
A gun?
Hey.
Jeff.
Just kidding. I don't know how anybody can get around this, but all these rumors, I mean, even though they say that there's a few leaks here and there, it's like every company, every magazine, every article out there wants to talk about these rumors, these videos of this iPhone 13 or all this other stuff. I'm tired of it. I'm just tired of rumors.
Yeah, honestly, I don't really care. And I'm not really going to believe anything one way or another until they officially make the announcement. I mean, I could be a rumor monger myself and I could be like, oh, I think there's going to be a new phone next year. Well, duh.
Yeah, I bet you there's going to be an Apple event this fall, but that's just a rumor.
I used to be someone that would read all of the rumors and stuff, and usually they are pretty darn accurate, which is unfortunate because it ruins the fun. Because the case makers always leak, this is what it's going to look like, and blah, blah, blah. And
Did you ever peek at a Christmas present? Did you ever?
Oh, I have no patience. But no, I wouldn't peek because I was too scared to get caught.
You shook it though, right?
Oh, of
You
course.
Shake the
I usually figured out what was in them by shaking.
Oh, I might have accidentally found a present or two back in the day.
But it's different without, like, it used to be so fun, all this anticipation, and now with the rumors, it's just like, it takes all the fun. I haven't read any of the rumor mill things because I'm not getting a new phone this year anyways. I'm guessing the form factor is going to remain the same. It's probably just going to be some upgrades and things here or there.
And a lot of people really are hoping for a home button.
That's not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Apple generally does not go backwards.
They'll probably do USB-C, though. I've heard that they might get sued if they don't.
That would be long overdue.
The whole weird thing about the home button is there would be some hope for that because they went and teased us. You know they can do it because they put it on the iPad Air last year. On the side button there, they put Touch ID there.
Oh, yeah. I was like, wait, there's no home button on the iPad. I had to think about it because I have the iPad Air.
No, the iPad Air,
yeah, the Touch ID
have.
is in the lock button. You are correct.
So it's like, why couldn't they do that on all their devices? You could still have Face ID, but it's just bizarre. Apple's just Apple.
I think it might be different, like maybe the cases. I don't know.
It's still a button. They have something against buttons.
Yeah.
Well, they have to keep the power, but I mean, there's no way they could not have a power button.
They don't even label their buttons.
The Touch ID on the lock button on the iPad Air is very, very fast, though, and very accurate. I do like it.
Yeah, I mean, I would love that if it were on like the lock button of like the new iPhones or something. That would be, I would prefer that actually.
Yeah, because it's reliable then.
You've got mail.
An email that we got that I really liked, and the person was very thankful about it, talked about the chapters, putting chapters in these Techabilities podcasts that people can see a topic, write down the list, and just click to them. I thought that was really good because it does take a little time to do it, but it actually organizes us in a sense that they can go to a section where that's what we're talking about. I mean, yeah, we drift a little bit here and there, but sometimes it starts up a topic that wasn't on the agenda or the outline. This isn't a board meeting, but it wasn't in the outline. But it drifts off into something that we do talk about. And we did that earlier. I like the chapters and, you know, people definitely can nibble away at it or eat the whole elephant all at once, you know?
Elephant? We're elephants now?
Well, oh yeah, I'm a fat cat. Now we're elephants.
Jeez.
Can't go much bigger than that, can we?
I don't think you can.
Give me time. We still got a few minutes. Give me time.
But maybe giraffe? I don't know. It's taller. Yeah.
There is a whale out there somewhere. But another thing that's out there that rhymes with whale is the Veil. And Jesse will bring us some information about that, plus another company that's talking about releasing some accessibility in this gaming world. Jesse.
Yeah, there are two particularly interesting bits of accessible-related news this week, and I will start with the one that you had mentioned. Blizzard, yes, we've covered them in the past 2 episodes, third time's a charm, I guess. But yeah, the first time, okay, accessibility good. Diablo is going to have accessibility features. Last episode, not so good. All the other junk that's going on with the company right now and the industry.
I just want to say that I put a link to your demonstration that you've noted, if we had the time to look at. I went and listened to it.
Oh, okay.
So I put a link in the show notes.
Yeah, so there's a game that's been out. It's a mainstream game that's been out for several years now. I don't remember when it originally came out, but it's called Hearthstone. And if you've ever heard of something like Magic the Gathering or like a kind of a card battle game, sort of like that, Hearthstone is kind of similar to that. I had not previously played it because card games and role-playing games and stuff like that, especially where there's a lot of small text and numbers and things, those are, even for me, like low vision-wise, they're actually really hard to see, so I kind of avoid those. So this past weekend, I finally got to try, about a week or two ago, somebody had made a mod that you could basically plug into the PC version of Hearthstone. I should basically mention that Hearthstone is a multi-platform game, meaning you can play it on mobile, you can play it on PC, you can play it like a bunch of different places, but the accessibility mod is only available on the PC right now. And so basically it works with your screen reader. I used NVDA, but you install Hearthstone, you download and install the mod, and then you just have your screen reader running and you launch the game through Blizzard's Battle.net desktop client, which is what they call it, battle.net. You start playing and it comes up with a really nice tutorial that kind of tells you what the keyboard commands are, walks you through a couple of different like battle scenarios, and it's cool because it even tells you like, here's how you do this, here's how you do that, and then it'll kind of walk you through. It'll be like, okay, now try to do this. Can you remember how to do it? And at any time you can hit like F1 if you're stuck or you need help or need a hint or something. I wasn't sure how much I would get into it, but I gotta say I enjoyed it quite a bit. And there is definitely some deep kind of strategy to it. You can play single player in a couple of different modes, and once you get that down, you can even go online and challenge other players. And I just found out, I think it was yesterday or today, there's actually a minor update to the Hearthstone Access mod. So I'll have to grab that should I choose to play or stream some more this weekend.
And people can find more about that on the link in the show notes, and that's on Illegally Cited YouTube channel.
Just released that today, actually, as we're recording this. Yep. Now, the other one that you talked about, The Veil, that is a game that's been around in the audio game community for a while. People have been waiting for it to be released, and they've had a couple of demos of it for the last couple of years, but it's, it just hasn't come out. People are really wanting to play it. I don't know, I'll have to see if I can find a way to justify playing it at work. Maybe I have to test its accessibility for transition. Yeah, that's it. It's an audio, like a story-based role-playing game kind of a thing. You play this, I forget what her name is, but you play this blind lady. She is supposed to like rule this kingdom or whatever, but some bad stuff went down, and then she has to basically find her way back home and basically take over. I forget how the story exactly goes from what I played of the demo, but the voice acting is really solid. I'm curious to see what the gameplay mechanics are going to be, but the unique thing about this one is it's an audio game and you can play it on PC, but it is also, we're getting a full audio game on Xbox consoles. So if you have an Xbox One or an Xbox Series S or X, which is the latest generation of systems, you can go to the Xbox store and buy The Veil and play it right on your console. So in addition to, like the fighting games and stuff that a lot of blind people will play, now you have a full-blown audio RPG, and I'm curious to see if or how many sighted people actually are willing to end up trying an audio game.
A medieval battle. I like that.
Yep, definitely a medieval thing going on.
And it's by Fallen Squirrel, and that's what they do. They do audio games that are designed for the visually impaired.
Yeah, Falling Squirrel, this is their first audio game. I've talked to the developer in the past a little bit, and they seem like really cool people. I'm really looking forward to trying it out in the next couple of days.
That's great. I think it's really neat to hear some more accessibility coming into the world of gaming. And Serena, did you kill the dragon?
Are you trying to say Swordy Quest?
Well, they unleashed a new realm. You can unlock another realm now.
Yes, the Infinite.
Which I don't have the resources for.
I just made it to the Beyond, because you have to kill the dragon 20 times or something.
I know, and I don't think I have enough health because it's taking me a long time. And
you all are playing Swordy Quest.
It takes a long time to kill the dragon. It's an hour commitment.
Oh, the dragon's a beast. I've killed 3 of them so far, but it takes forever.
Between having to recharge, the dragon's only down 3 health points, and I'm down 68, and I'm like...
Oh, yeah.
It takes a couple hundred rounds, usually. 100 to 200.
Oh, yeah. It takes... Yeah, you gotta have a boatload of health items.
Just have lots of cacti, fruit, and aloe gel.
Yes, that was my burning question. Is it just me? Should I have more health?
No.
And how do I get it?
Nope, you just have to keep eating a million times.
No, they're brutal.
Yeah, they are.
And you
they
have
are.
to heal. Like, I literally have like 4,000 or 5,000 fruit in my inventory, or meat, or...
I love double gather weekends. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
That's the best time.
Do you guys have any yards to take care of or pets to groom?
I mean, you know how many jobs we all have, but we find time to play some Swordy Quest.
I get my steps in on gathering weekends. I hold the phone and I walk in place and I get my steps in.
No, there you go.
It's the best time to get the cactus fruit's my favorite thing to gather.
Yeah, because you get the best.
Yeah, that and aloe gel are really good.
Yep, they're the two best.
Yeah, aloe gel and cactus fruit are the best things
I
to
beat
get.
something the other day and it was a big deal and I had to heal a couple times and it was like, you get 6 berries. And I'm like, thanks.
Yeah, I had beat someone in the castle and the beyond and I was all disappointed with what I got. I was
like thanks
that's
for
forever.
nothing.
Well, it was funny because at first they only had like one boss in the
Beyond.
The Beyond.
Yeah.
And all the other castles just had quests, but now I went to one yesterday and now at least one of the other castles has a boss because I had to beat him yesterday.
Well, and there's like 25 people to beat in each area too. I haven't found them all.
I ended up having to go back to all the villages and all the farms because I found I was missing information.
And I can't figure out what I'm missing too.
I know. It's maddening.
Jeff's
I feel like
can you guys stop it now?
there should be like a you still need tracker.
Can you tell people where to find this game?
Swordy Quest. SWORDY Quest. QUEST. It's an iOS app.
Yeah.
And it's free, but there are in-app upgrades that are pretty necessary if you want to be able to continue on the game.
And they're not like horrible microtransactions or anything like that.
Really, when you see all the work and all the effort that he has put into not just the game itself, but the accessibility for voiceover of the game, you're really... I don't feel this way too often, but you're really not, I'm happy to give him my money because I feel like, wow, look at what he did.
Absolutely.
And he's always in the Facebook community, constantly asking people what they think about it.
I wish there was like a little manual guide that was not on Facebook. I really would like an alternate way to interact, but...
It's a public community, so you don't have to have a Facebook account to look at it.
You don't?
No, it's a public group.
Oh, this is how rabbit holes are made.
Yeah, so you can still scroll through it.
Come to the dark side.
Yeah. You just can't post or like or anything.
Every
it's
time
public.
we mention Swordy Quest, we lose about 4.5 minutes on the podcast.
But who's counting?
I haven't played it in a couple days, though.
I only played it once in the last couple of weeks.
We're going to gain that time back because I'm not going to ask what you guys are doing at the end of the podcast because I know you're going to be playing Swordy Quest. I'll just go straight to Rocky.
Hey, I'm busy. I'm doing tons of other stuff, man.
I have 2 questions, if I may, please. One is... grandly off topic again, back to Swordy Quest. I just looked and I was curious, and I have 18 crystals for health.
I have like 18 or 19 myself.
Okay, so...
there's 30 total.
So it really isn't just me and the dragon having,
Even if you get all 30, it's still gonna be hard.
That is one thing I wish he would change a little bit because, so
it gets a little easier as you go.
It should be hard, but it's like...
Because I have Obsidian and it's not even.
But this is grinding and it's tedious.
It is.
It's exhausting and pointless.
Yeah, there's no strategy to it. It's attack, eat,
exhausting.
attack.
Yes, and
that's all it
rinse
is.
and repeat,
Grinding,
and it's so...
there's no strategy to it.
People have complained about that a lot in the group.
It's exponentially harder than anything else, and it's exponentially more tedious than anything else.
And the other ones get easier as you weapon up, too.
Yeah, they do. A lot easier.
But this one doesn't.
Well, see, most role-playing games like this, most turn-based games, you have a variety of different attacks, whereas this game, all you have is attack.
Just attack.
And so, if there was some strategy to say, oh, well, when he does this, then he's susceptible to this kind of attack. Well, if he does that, you can use this. Then that would be one thing, but it's literally just... It's almost like just automated.
It is, especially if you have the clan fight on.
Yeah, I wish I could automate it. I was thinking that this weekend.
Speaking of attack, I was attacked today. I was watering my trees. I have 26 arborvitae trees, about 7 feet tall, and 2 bees, or 1 fast bee.
Oh, no.
One got me right on my bottom eyelid.
How?
Oh!
Yeah.
That happened to me once. I had to pull the stinger out. It was right under my right eye.
Oh.
It hurt so freaking
my
bad.
right eye. It was probably the same bee.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that they die when they sting you.
It was probably the same bee. That will have me laughing for days.
The second one got me right on the kneecap, right above the kneecap.
I can't believe you got stung by 2 bees.
Ow, man.
That is so unlikely.
You ticked somebody off.
Did you hit their hive or something?
I hope there's not a hive there because it's right outside my front door
for
by
both of
about
them to
25 feet.
Send Lori out to check. She'll protect you. Aww.
I had a friend get stung. This is going to sound really bad. In the small of her back, right above her butt. She was like, I can't sit down.
I don't blame her.
Oh, I got on the phone right away to my daughter. I FaceTimed her and I said, I just got stung by a bee, blah, 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 blah.
She's probably like, where?
Well, she goes, oh my gosh, it looks like Lori hit you. Because it's it's instantaneously it swells up.
Oh yeah, my eye water.
Did you take some Benadryl?
Benadryl? No, I didn't. Nothing.
I guess you'd be asleep right now if you had.
Yeah. I didn't take anything either for mine. I just like.
Well, you guys are gonna be playing Swordy Quest. We're just gonna. Serena, you got anything going on?
I'm trying to think. Not really. No. Swordy Quest. Work.
Yeah, there you go. It's work. Swordy Quest. Swordy Quest.
Sounds about right.
So, Rocky, what do you got going on?
What do I got going on? You putting me on the spot again?
Yeah, I gotcha right where I want you.
What do we got going on?
You got the big sale going on.
Looking forward to the fall. Looking forward to new stuff coming next month. Looking forward to White Cane Safety just around the corner. So some of you know what that means. And if you don't, you'll have to stay tuned and listen. What else we got going? We're pushing to, hopefully we want to ideally begin seeing people again here very soon if this COVID thing nonsense would settle down and the fires would quit burning and the world would stop going crazy for a little while. But we're hanging in there. New stuff coming next month.
Yeah, you guys got it pretty tough out there.
Yeah, the fires are getting a little too close for comfort. I woke up this morning, I thought, why is my house full of smoke? So it's in the air, it's just everywhere. I was like, oh my god, the window's open, there's smoke in here. I thought, what's on fire? And then I realized, no, silly, it's 50 miles away, but it's...
Oh yeah, I did move to California years ago. That's what we were saying a month ago. What's all this smoke? Thanks, California.
Right. Thanks for having me.
You betcha.
Sound like a true Minnesotan, you betcha.
You betcha. How about you, Lisa?
In about 10 days from the time that we recorded this, my little sister will be married, and my family will have spent a weekend together, and hopefully everyone will be alive.
That's a good thought.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the main thing, I guess, that's going on with me. Still fighting with long COVID stuff. Found out I'm eligible for a 3rd vaccine, so I'm getting it Friday with the philosophy that what doesn't kill us hopefully makes us stronger. So we'll see.
Jesse.
Yeah, things are definitely keeping busy for me around here. Work has been pretty busy doing a lot of stuff with the transition program and technology and all those kinds of things. Outside of work, I'm still doing things with Microsoft and XR Access, which is augmented and virtual reality stuff. There's going to be probably a few surprises. There's definitely going to be a lot of content coming to the YouTube channel, including a few surprises in the next little while. Still doing a little bit of Twitch streaming as well on the weekends. And for those interested, if you are interested in game accessibility in any fashion, there is the North American version of the Game Accessibility Conference, GAConf. It is October 11th and 12th. It's a 2-day conference, virtual. It is free, and you can register on their website. And I've already basically reserved those 2 days off because I am absolutely attending. They have one North American version of it, and then they have a European version. They've had that the last couple of years. And it is if you're into that kind of a thing, it's an extremely interesting conference where they have all kinds of sessions just on all kinds of cool aspects of game accessibility. And with the progress that we've been making over the past couple of years, it's just getting better.
There's no Southern Hemisphere conference, huh?
Not as of yet.
That's it.
Give it time.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for your comments and your messages, your emails. We'd love to hear from you. You can send us an email at info@blindabilities.com, or you can give us a call at 612-367-6093. We'd love to hear from you. And from all of us here at Tech Abilities, stay well and stay strong. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
A big shout out to Chichow for his beautiful music. You can follow Chichow on Twitter at LChichow.
And then cue our funky music, right?
And for more podcasts with the Blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at Blindabilities, and give us a call at 612-367-6093. Leave us a message and let us know if we can put your voice on the next podcast. Drop us an email at info@blindabilities.com and download the free Blindabilities app from the App Store and Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And from all of us here at Blind Abilities, through these challenging times, to you, your family, and friends, stay well, stay informed, and stay strong. I want to thank you for listening. Hope you enjoyed. And until next time, bye-bye.